after Bad Bunny, would you bring, I don't know, Peso Pluma or something like that?
Well, I mean, yeah, it feels like it's a real youthful return to good musicianship and melody and everything, and I love it.
How's everything? Good? Tired? What did you arrive yesterday?
Well, I was in LA beforehand, but I was doing late night music sessions. So
all right. I love numbers and kind of love the synchronicity of life. And I'm not sure if you remember, but today is November 18th, 2023. And on November 18th of 1999 was your first show in Mexico City.
yeah,
You remember that? I have some
I do remember that.
I have some footage from that show that I want to show you.
It's very exciting.
What was like your first memory from Mexico at that time?
Oh, I was just sort of overwhelmed by the whole place. I was just, instantly knew I loved it here. I got quite sick actually. We were in the dressing room. I ate a kiwi fruit that had sort of something on the skin, and then my whole mouth started bleeding and swelling up.
Oh wow, that's so painful. And well, nowadays, your audience is very mixed up. I mean, there are new kids, teenagers, and of course, all the people that have been following the band for the last 30 years.
So it's longer than.
Well, you reflect about that, of that blending, and
Well, it's not something you plan, is it? It's something that evolves naturally. So it's a nice evolution for us.
I understand that the band regrouped to prepare the live shows for this year. I want to ask you, the new album was always on the cards, or it was something that it happened on that process?
Well, we plan to play a few big gigs in London. That was the first song. It was like, oh, this would be nice. Play these songs one more time, And then it sort of grew. And I was on tour in America with Gorillaz last autumn, and I just started writing, and it came quite quickly. So it was, very, very easy to make a record, and we did it very quickly.
I fucked up.
Was there any kind of eureka moment or song that make you feel like, we got it, this is gonna be a new album?
I think when everyone listened to all the demos, there were more than enough that they liked. So from that point, I was kind of pretty confident we'd make something.
The lyrics are very emotional. There are a lot of hints of breakups, and I mean, Barbaric is a brutal song with I think it reflects how every breakup led us kind of lost that part of where are we going,
Yeah, something
where all the devastation came from.
Yeah, it's two things it teaches you. It's the uncertainty of the future, but also the acceptance that nothing remains the same forever.
You've been together as a band for almost 40 years, and with all the highs and lows, looking back, how has your friendship and partnerships grown over the years?
Well, I mean, I think the secret to our success is that we've managed to, grow apart, but also always stay close, So everyone, as soon as we get off the plane, everyone goes off and does their own thing, you know what I mean? It's a very cordial, but I suppose what's lovely about it is that we have such a shared history that, it really manifests itself on stage. I think that's what people love about us.
You're coming back to Mexico in a few months for the very first time with African Express.
Yeah.
So
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's the first time that we've kind of moved the compass really to include all those incredible Afro-Latin riffs. So you're going to have brilliant musicians from this continent, from the African continent, and from Europe and America all playing and making new music together.
I want to ask you about how do you balance the vision of working a project that steers away from the commercial success and focus on authenticity and community building?
Yeah. Well, for me, there is no separation between any of it. It's all as important. This is a big communal experience as well, but one built on kind of sort of a long history, whereas with African Express, it's very spontaneous and you never know what the show is going to be like, but you have the most amazing collection of musicians. So, they carry all their history with it. So it's kind of magic.
I also want to ask you, because the landscape in the music industry has changed over the years. I mean, with TikTok, artificial intelligence, all that stuff. But looks like there aren't many exciting projects in rock or guitar music, but the themes on reggaeton or urban music looks like the new rock or the new counterculture.
Yeah, I think, I don't think that's true. And I don't really see myself as being of any genre. So, in the last week, I've worked with such a wide spectrum of people, from people like Honey Dijon to ASAP Rocky. That's just in the last week. Earth Gang. Yeah, so I'm all over the place all the time.
I understand that you're putting music for the very first time to this opera, The Magic Flute.
It's a fragment of a Magic Flute Part 2 written by Goethe. That has never been set to music. It's like 3 pages. So, it's kind of mad to be doing that.
How's that experience of
I'm right in the middle
of creating music that was kind of written like 2 centuries ago? And
I'm not creating music that was written, because there was no music written for this. It's just, it comes from that period of magic opera, in the 18th century, late 18th century. It's a fascinating subject, which I'm really enjoying studying. See what happens next year.
I went to 2 Wembley shows, saw some camera crews and all that stuff. You were doing kind of a documentary movie.
Yeah, we made a film of it. We'll wait to see what it looks like. But it was a great feeling that night. So those nights.
It's gonna see the lights.
Oh yeah, of course.
Of course. Also, you mentioned in the summer that you were working on new Gorillaz material with Jamie.
Not yet, but I will be. Once I finish the opera, then I'll do that.
That's good. After Bad Bunny, would you bring, I don't know, Paso Pluma or something like that?
Well, funnily enough, I can't talk about it because it's not my project, but it's funny how orbits cross sometimes. But I really do rate that whole movement of music that's coming out of Mexico, where you have the trumpets and the accordion, guitar, and the bass. It feels like it's a real youthful return to good musicianship and melody and everything, and I love it.
Thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.
I really enjoy it, and I can see Smoggy Darren over there, so
yes.
That's it. We met this kind of stuff, so I'm sure you're gonna see them on the audience.
Oh, okay. Yeah, good. Nice. I like a mask.